Hey folks, welcome to SnapCast episode 14. Today we're going to be covering the map by ByManStudio, Time Traveler 1 and 2. And I'm going to go ahead and introduce some guests. First up, we got Count Lazuli. How you doing, man?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm doing pretty good. Hope you're doing good as well.
I'm doing fantastic. I'm glad you could be here. Also,
Thanks.
we've got TheSovietOnion. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing amazing right now.
Fantastic. We also got SicklyShimly. Sickly, how you doing?
Reject humanity, return to monk.
Oh, that doesn't sound good. How about the last SnapCast contributor we have for the first time, Dingenouts, also just going by Dinge. What's going on, man?
Doing good, just working on maps. That's literally all I do.
Hey, you're in the right place, buddy. Okay, so we ready to start this video?
Hell yeah.
Locked and loaded.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play. And this is it. Time Traveler at the start screen.
So weird
Infamous
how this guy...
time traveler.
Yeah. So weird how this guy only made, like, 2 maps, obviously. He just returned randomly for the second time.
I think it's ironic how,
Wait, when was the first one made?
I don't know.
57 minutes.
Made in 2017. Probably...
Love anonymous here.
Yeah, I want to
He's only
say...
got like 57 minutes.
Spring
He's only got,
2017?
like 57 minutes on it.
No, it was summer 2017. I remember now because that's when I published Psychotron, and it ended up on there too. Because I remember I was actually at a Tool concert, and I was like camping out when I found out that it got spotlighted. It's pretty cool.
Wait, I'm sorry, a Tool concert? Can you
Tool is still
specify?
fine.
what
Yeah, the band Tool.
Oh, okay. I was thinking like you were
Great
like
band.
cheering for like wrenches and stuff. Like,
I am a mechanic, but no.
That socket. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Like socket shit.
ladies and gentlemen, get ready for nuts and bolts.
Yeah.
Who's gonna win the screwdriver or the sledgehammer?
All right, we're going to the hardware store.
Crash just living inside of a hardware store for a month.
Hi, welcome to
So-
Home Depot.
I'll be honest. I remember thinking this was like a decent map for like the older time of SnapMap. Like I thought it was good, but I didn't. At least from what I remember, I don't remember it being like as crazy as something like like Psychotron or Eye of Horus.
Yeah, well, it's mostly focused on the visuals. I think the gameplay is kind of the funny thing is there isn't really a strong story in this map.
Yeah, I suppose.
I mean, they did.
There's
I think
story
like,
elements.
visually.
Like I guess you could say that the setting tells the story, but there isn't really like a story that you would like just put in a book or anything.
And it's kind of funny because I don't even know what part when it comes. Obviously, in this map, I know you do some weird teleportation or something, but there was never really any time travel.
Well, there was actually. There were some. You're going to see here pretty soon. You're traveling. I'll go figure. And the room will literally like flash into the future and then like flash back to the present.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
haven't played the map in a while. It's been a while.
I wish I could have gotten the author on board.
I've only played it recently, and to be honest with you, that first section where you're like going back from the past to the future and vice versa, that never gets brought or used in that map ever again. Which is really disappointing.
I love the way he starts you out on that operating table or the bed or whatever it is. Great use of the camera work there.
My first praise is that he's really good with cutscenes for sure. You got a nice little Pennywise dance there.
Yeah. Yeah. And just the performance that he gets out of these holograms is really just some of the best I've seen.
Oh, for sure.
He uses the Vega lines really well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember another map that did this well was Ethereal Shard.
Oh, by
The
Shades
Vega
Master?
dialogue. Yeah, by Shades Master.
Mm.
Is he with us tonight? I don't even remember.
I'm not sure.
No?
He'd probably be asleep
Okay.
if he was.
That's true. Long day of
Hasn't
ice,
he fallen asleep in some of the
sculpting or
previous
something.
ones?
Yeah.
He fell asleep on Terragrithia's Chamber. That was one of my favorite episodes.
I read the UAC thing and said Union. I accidentally took it for Onion.
I really like the way he did that UAC like sign there. Does that combine the details?
Yeah.
Decals.
I think I just tend to be a little harder on preset module maps. I guess it's just as someone who's psychotic for custom geo, but also just the fact that when you're using when you're using a lot of preset modules, it blends into the majority of other maps, you know?
That's why you
yeah.
gotta do your best to make them very unique compared to obviously what a normal module will be. Like in this map, it redesigns a lot of the modules to different uses.
Yeah.
But I do like these hybrid modules where it's just like, it's custom geo and props laid over a regular module just to kind of make it pop more. And the default modules aren't necessarily bad, they're just, they just look empty if you don't do anything with them.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember there's a point later in this map that when I played it, I was getting really frustrated. It's like a big spiral staircase, and there's just so many enemies in the way.
Yeah.
No.
Now I have a
It
theory
kinda-
about that dead body
That
that
chair
you saw on the
for the
floor
spiral.
just now. I have a theory. It never gets explained, but I have a theory that is actually the Doomslayer, that dead body. That you actually died when the teleporter went active, and then this is your afterlife that you're experiencing through the rest of the game.
Oh yeah.
That is an interesting idea.
Maybe you went to hell for some reason.
Maybe.
Because in the later map, I remember there's that weird cutscene with the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that never really got explained. I think it's just sort of up to your imagination, or...
Yeah.
I thought maybe that was like a foreshadow for the third map, which will be released in like 2029.
Yeah, right before the Snap map servers get
Wait.
turned off, that map will be released.
Oh, that's
The
gonna be a
last map
pissing
you'll ever
time.
play.
When did part 2 come out?
Recently, actually, not that long
man.
ago.
It was like last
It was
year.
in May. In May.
Yeah,
last
it
year.
was last year.
Yeah, like this is an element of this map that I do like is when you're getting phased in and out of time.
Hmm.
Lovely key card.
Yeah, it would have been nice to get the author on board for this, but he's just kind of not super active online.
Yeah.
Yeah, he has a channel, but it hasn't been active in quite some time.
Yeah, I sent him an invitation. He will probably see it eventually, but...
Oh yeah, in 2029.
Certainly not today.
Yeah, not today. Not
If
today.
it's fucking 2029.
I know, I always felt people like that were really interesting. They just come in out of nowhere, make something super crazy, and then they disappear without a word.
Right.
Yeah. It definitely leads to some mysterious thoughts about these people and what they did, to make all this cool stuff.
Taylorhead's a little bit like that, but he's, he does chat.
He
with
was
the community.
active.
Yeah.
He's still around.
Taylorhead's more of a tragic story because he's just somebody that was kind of only on PS4, and then when that Snap Map publishing bug happened, he just couldn't publish anything after that, and decided to throw in the towel. I couldn't blame him.
Oh, that
Man, I'm still bummed out that he never released that third map.
Yeah.
Temple of Osiris.
Yeah, a lot of those maps were really cool, and it's really sad to see, especially because PlayStation users have to deal with that publishing bug. How many cool maps that could have possibly been released that never will see the light of day because of the publishing bug?
Yeah, it is pretty sad.
Happening.
many of my maps that I've put so much effort in.
I do like this
get-
room.
they're
I
good.
forgot about this
love
room.
this room. This is probably my favorite area of this map was always this. I always looked at this and like, damn, I really wish I could do this. And then I kind of did something like that.
Dude, I forgot about this room. This is nice.
The terminals. Yeah.
Wait,
It's like
bunch of
airport
metal.
security. Yeah.
when did the publishing bug start happening?
It happened like late
publishing
20.
bug-
It happened like late 2017, I want to say.
Alright,
yeah,
maybe
I've actually struggled from it. I don't think I've encountered issues with publishing bug before.
So I remember I was going to publish. Yeah, I was going to publish a map for Z-Man's Snap Map Challenge.
His mechs were always really cool.
Yeah, he's got some good mechs.
That mech specifically.
Yeah, that mech.
It's a very effective use of props.
Although he does make a even bigger, better mech for the second map.
Oh, I've got plenty of good to say about the map after this. So, from the two maps combined, I get less of a time traveler story, and I get more a story of like a character that's constantly on the run.
I just sort of think of somebody that's like going mad. I don't necessarily think time travel. If you want to do time travel, it would have been better to like make maybe like a full custom geo module where you're like back in the medieval times or something like that, instead of just being in an earlier version or a later version of the same UAC modules. I don't know. The jump in time doesn't seem drastic enough to really be noticeable.
Yeah, who really knows what the
versions
author
of
actually
the
intended with the map? Because, as you said, it doesn't really have a story to it, but it just has environmental storytelling in a way. You
Yeah.
can just learn how the map, goes just by looking around.
There was
Exactly.
a map. There's this really cool horror map that I never finished called Alien Mort, and I don't know if it was one of you guys or if it was Quantum Affected who made it, but that had a time traveling mechanic in it too, to an extent.
I tried making a horror map and I got distracted, and I haven't finished that horror map.
I've tried making
Oh, I have
reports
to-
in the past. It never ended well.
See, I have to finish my horror map whether I like it or not, because I got Taylorhead to put in some custom mods in there, and to me, when you get someone to do that, you're pretty much like oath bound to finish your work. So I
Yeah.
will have
Did you mean
that.
Taratella?
Yeah, Taratella. Yeah.
I think you said
actually,
Taylorhead.
technically- Oh, sorry. The horror map is actually out, but I never advertised it because it's technically not done. I just wanted people to look at the published date and see October 31st on it. But anyway, enough about that.
I really like this hangar. This hangar was
Yeah,
was
this
cool to me.
is
This
really
is
a
a really good
breathtaking.
use of this module, because other than some people using it for building custom geo inside, you really don't see much use except for you find a joke map or some unfinished map that has just a big empty room like this.
Yeah,
like-
excellent use of that skybox there too, for the opening of the
It's-
hangar.
It's a very well made hangar. It makes me think of when I'm on the clock and I'm in the inventory area. I was seeing all
This is
those
what I'm talking
boxes.
about when I say like hybrid modules. Like just you take the base default module, but then you dress it up with skyboxes and blocking volumes and props, and you really make it something unique of its own, like he did in this hangar. And there's no shame in using a default module as your starting block,
Yeah, except it just means that you're a lesser person. That's all. But
No,
no,
yeah. Yeah, you hang.
Dear mortals and your module must ascend to the higher glory of custom geo.
preset
You
peasants.
absolute pagans.
I'm
You
gonna call that the-
absolute pagans. I started using the custom... I'm screwed, aren't I?
All right, from this point, anyone who doesn't do custom geo, just to make them feel better, I'm going to refer to them as preset peasants.
I agree with this.
That doesn't make me feel better.
Hey, it should make you feel better. It'll inspire you to be as great and awesome as I am.
Well, the thing about custom geo is, unless you're actually good enough at doing it to make it look good, you shouldn't do it just to do it. Because, like, I've played a lot of maps that were technically full custom geo and looked awful. Completely awful.
That is true. There are a lot of, that's true. There are a lot of maps out there that are just, like, flat walls of nothingness.
Yeah.
There's been a
Reminds
lot
me
of,
of
if you look at a lot of the older geo maps, they kind of aged poorly. And when you realize that, like, at the time, maybe it was really cool. Oh man, this guy made, you know, this cool room with it. But then we come back and like, oh shit, it's just like a few walls and then some props placed inside.
Yeah. I just remember how being blown away the first time I saw a skybox and Snap Map that somebody put in. I'm like, what? That's amazing.
I like that crane, like the crane that moves that you hopped on right there.
Oh yeah. Such a nice touch. All those little details. And that shuttle too just looks fantastic.
Nicely, yeah, that's a well done shuttle.
It looks like a shuttle. It's not, you know, a bunch of props cobbled together.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean, it kind of is. But,
it is,
you know,
but you know, there's geo in it.
Yeah.
But it's he sells it.
Yeah, it's melded very nicely. He clearly knew, you know, what parts he was putting together here. He didn't just. I mean, I guess he did kind of just make a box with some props, but you know, he made it look authentic, much like this thing here, which gives me very much Alien vibes, like Alien 2. You know, I know JRcrash is very familiar with the Alien movies.
Oh yeah, I got my own Alien tribute map out there.
Oh, I saw it. I think I played it too. I think I died actually.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal.
Which, by the way, JRcrash, I just found out.
And there's the power up that I should have gotten earlier. That gave me double health and armor.
Actually, I just found out the other day, JRcrash, that there were released comics based on the original idea for the Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
It was super cool. They were supposed to find like the facehugger eggs in a pyramid.
Oh yeah.
Xenomorph was supposed to have like 2 tails, and the space jockey was like this huge skinny dude with like a star-shaped head.
Wait,
Wow.
are we going all the way back to the beginning?
I can send you a couple links or something maybe later.
This is the classic, oh shit, what the fuck am I supposed to do moment.
Oh yes.
Level of confusion.
Yeah, getting turned around.
Actually, there is one thing I do get a little annoyed with snap maps, and I know I'm a little guilty of this, and I know that JRcrash knows I'm guilty of this. But it's when there's like no kind of like point of interest or anything to suggest where you're supposed to go. And usually the justification is, you know, well, we want to do like the old school type of map where you have to find the goal, which I understand that, but it's also a snap map at the same time. You know, people are only going to spend a certain amount of time on your map before they move on.
Yeah,
And-
I've had that problem where, like, I would, you know, join a map, and then I have no idea what the fuck to do. I'm wandering around, and then, like, you find out what it is. It's a skull switch in the, like, you know, the back corner of fuck knows where. And then you find, or you find it or you don't, and you just give up on the map. And you go download the map and look at it in the editor, and then say, all right, that's a cool map. Let's move on.
And it's not like you don't have to use a point of interest. But at least something to imply. Like a lot of people, they do what the campaigns do with the green lights. Like that's a good detail to have.
Oh yeah, just those visual indicators. Like put a flashing
Yeah.
green light over a switch that you're supposed to press, or something. Visual
Did
cues,
that-
very
Lights do
important.
wonders.
One thing I did in antivirus was, if you take too long before pressing the switch that you're supposed to press, a POI will actually pop up over it, direct you
Oh,
where to
really?
go. Yeah, it's set to a timer, so.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I mean, if you can just like naturally find your way around the map, that's great. I don't hold your hand, but if you're taking too long, then I'll push you in the right direction.
That's
You know,
that's
one
pretty
thing
cool.
I started noticing about this map, there is a heavy lean towards the use of cyber mancubi.
Yeah, it's a little grindy.
And that this
Granted,
is
I
actually
know that my maps tend to go a little crazy with the numbers.
actually this was the part of the map that I didn't like, was coming up these stairs and having all the
it's
enemies.
spiral.
And going back
Yeah.
down the stairs.
Yeah,
You gotta fight them all on the way back down too.
I like this room.
Oh my
I like
God,
them
I
when
just
people
realized
use it
what
like in
module
really
it is.
cool ways. But when it's just a
Yeah,
staircase, it's not cool.
I just realized what module it was. I wasn't able to tell because of Skybox.
Yeah, you could really do a lot with skyboxes to change the default modules.
I think the
Yeah.
best way, if you ever like build something in a module, I think the best reaction is when you have to try and figure out what module it is.
Yeah.
Where you don't know, like, hey, yeah, obviously it's a module, but you don't know what module it is. I really like when people do that. Like, they redevelop the room to make it completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely cool when they do
All
that.
it takes is a simple skybox to do it. Sometimes it doesn't even matter where you put it. Just as long as it's visible from almost all angles.
And sometimes, even if you're going to do full custom geo anyway, you might want to just reskin a default module with your full custom geo just because the AI navigation paths work better over regular modules. Like, for example, my map Dungeon Keeper. It looks like a full custom geo map, but it's actually just reskinned over just regular corridors and rooms, just so that the AI pathing works easier.
Oh, is it really?
Nice.
Yeah.
Okay.
I started
didn't know
to do
that.
the same thing as well with my maps.
There is ways to get around with the AI not working. Obviously, Custom Geo has that problem, but if you place, fun little fact, if you actually place props, like especially the construction props, like hidden right underneath Custom Geo,
It'll
demons
work.
actually work better on props than they do on Custom Geo.
Oh, really?
That's interesting to put that in there.
Maybe the props just have a different form of properties than the Geo does.
I believe it's because the demons have, like, in part of their AI, they know to avoid props. That's why you don't find them some obviously you do find them caught on props, like especially on a map that has like an absurd amount of props in a room. But like obviously when it comes to blocking bombs, they're much susceptible to getting messed up by one of something like that.
Oh yeah, especially if I just saw the skybox flickering there.
Just amazing how many rockets
yeah,
that Cyber Mancubus could take to the face.
But yeah, I know that I'm pretty sure the AI pathing can be especially confusing if the map is filled with props and none of them have their collision turned off.
Mm.
I think this is the ending of the map.
Yeah, it goes quick.
Yeah.
That's why we did both of these. It's not like, I don't want AC Slayer to get all excited, like, oh, they're just going to do a whole series at once. No, these are short maps. That's why we're doing both of them.
No. We're doing a marathon on Quick Doom, whether you like it or not.
There was,
Wait, why did I hear Pinky? I don't remember Pinky's being here.
you know what?
I would have liked if I would have liked if there were more fights than just that climber area.
Great use of the vortex there for the wind.
Uh-oh.
And here we are.
On to part 2.
Everybody's good until BFG Division starts playing. Well, I mean, there's still a whole...
Pretty good ending,
That's
though.
what we're going to use for the feedback.
Getting launched out of the hangar on the shuttle. I like that. It's funny because
And
most
then
of my
BFG
maps
Division
start
started
with you
playing.
flying in on some kind of shuttle. This one ends with you flying out on a shuttle. And nowhere near the top score there, obviously.
I believe there's an area where you can farm kills. I believe it's the staircase. I think demons endlessly spawn there.
Oh, okay. Is that what's happening there?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
that's why people have absurd scores, because they probably get stuck thinking, it's there's I need to kill the demon, but it's not. No.
Yeah, and it's just insane how many plays this map has. It has, like, last I checked, like 150,000.
Well, it's up there on the
Good
top of the
lord.
board. Yeah, isn't it in the middle?
Well, no, I think Eye of Horus has 200,000. Devil City Ransom has like a little less than that. This one's got 150, and poor old me with only 90,000 plays on Psychotron.
Oh, boo-hoo!
Yeah,
Hey, man, you
it's
know,
a tough life.
I've ever had on a map is like probably 50. No, 5.
The highest amount I've ever gotten was back on my old profile, and it was like 150.
Hey, well, you know,
some of my newer maps
JRcrash.
fail. Some of my newer maps never even breached the 20 play mark.
I mean,
Well, JRcrash,
the only. Okay.
Well, JRcrash, just because your map has less plays doesn't mean it's a lesser map. It just means it's a bad map.
Oh.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, it's just the way it is, you know?
It'd be okay. It'd be cool though if like a fraction of the people that played that map actually looked at my library and played some of the other maps.
Yeah.
But they really don't. They really don't.
Click on a map, play it, back out, click on a map, play it. I think most people, when they get on the Snap map, just go through the community spotlight, then probably get down to the Snap map maps, like the Snap map main maps, and probably
I
leave.
think,
Or maybe go to the popular maps.
I think Dungeon Keeper deserves more attention, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, it's one of my favorites that I've made.
Well, I saw your videos on it, and it really baffled me the amount of work that went into it.
Yeah.
On the topic of this map,
Yeah, let's talk about this map.
Oh yeah, you know, I guess we should probably talk about the map that we're
not this
looking
other
at.
person's map, the map we're
Yeah.
supposed to be focusing on.
Jesus Christ, that is a lot of logic.
Yeah, just a
Granted,
ton of
I'm
work
still
went into doing
much-
this.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
a lot of
I'm
it's a
still much
lot
more
of that
used to
like
very
loose, like
simple
we
maps.
should be able to get away with
It
more,
does
but
not compare to my logic. My logic is way more cluttered and way more messy.
there's
Yeah,
ways of
I only
optimizing
one-
your coding to better, and I can see a lot of optimization in this. There's not
There
like,
is
like,
only-
like obviously it's still a mess regardless. Whenever you stare at someone else's code, it's always confusing.
Right.
Yeah.
I started loading up some of my old maps and I don't even understand what the hell the logic is that I use in there.
Oh man, it was so bad. Like some of my older maps, like I would actually, instead of using the delay function on the logic nodes, I would literally put a timer node to like do a 0.5 delay. Like if you look at the logic for aliens, it is so messy and embarrassing.
My sensible map, I had this thing where like, because I didn't realize you could make ammo respawn, because it had like those two options where like respawn time, it had like a respawn time, but it never stated that you could enable it to respawn. You just had to enable, like, you know, put a timer on it. Or
You
a
know,
delay on it. And so I constantly had everything with timers on them, and I realized, oh shit, I can just, you know, put a delay on, you know, like the respawn delay, and then I had more space to work with.
Yeah, and save yourself a ton of network. So, do you guys want to get into final thoughts on the first one, or? Well, what?
Yeah, I suppose.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll go first. I'll kick it off. So my final thoughts about Time Traveler 1 is it's a fantastic map. Definitely you can tell by just watching it, and especially looking at it in the editor, that the author took a ton of time to nail down the visual of it. Obviously the logic is fantastic. Everything works as it should, and I'm just amazed at the performance he was able to get out of that hologram. Like the first time I played it, I was just kind of like, wow, I didn't know the hologram could be so animated. So it was pretty impressive to just see that. And yeah, the whole experience is pretty good, I would say. There were some things I didn't like. That is kind of easy to get turned around at some points. I think more use of POIs would have been helpful. And there's also a point where there's like this one room, like right behind where the mech is, that has literally all your stuff in it that you're supposed to get, like your weapons and armor and jump boots. And there's this Argent cache, I think, that opens up, and you grab it, and it gives you like double health and a full set of armor, right? I didn't grab it the first time I was in there because I just didn't notice it, because that room is so busy that it didn't stand out, so I didn't bother grabbing it. So then when I went into the hangar to fight the demons that were in there, I didn't grab the power-up that I needed, so I got my ass handed to me. And that is my fault. I'm not gonna say that, you know, if I die, it's automatically something wrong with the map. It's, you know, I should pay more attention, but I just don't understand that from a design point of view. Like, why not just start the player out with all that stuff? I don't know. It didn't make sense to me to have that to be a separate thing that you have to grab just to get the bonus. But maybe there was some kind of story reason, like maybe because that's an armory. I don't know. It's not a big detail. Like, it's probably not going to matter to anybody. But because it was the reason I got killed in this footage, that I felt like explaining that a little bit. But no, overall, it's a fantastic map. It's definitely heavy on the visuals. You can learn a lot about doing prop work by playing this map. It's not full custom geo. It is a hybrid module in that he takes prefabricated modules, puts props and blocking volumes and skyboxes, and really kind of makes them pop in a way that they normally wouldn't. He's able to bring them to life, and it all looks very convincing. Nothing that the author does visually is jarring in any kind of way. It all looks like stuff that just belongs there. It just looks so natural the way he does it. So visually, it's spectacular. Go ahead. Yeah. What do you got?
I just noticed that this map has 97.74% of objects and 99.77% of memory. Good lord.
Yes.
Yeah, I actually felt the same way. Like, how did it get that high up?
I'm assuming I'm assuming poor optimization, but at the same time, the amount of decals I've already seen in the map and the amount of like shit that's going on, and plus coding takes up memory, so you don't know what exactly could cause the memory to be so high up, but still.
Yeah. So I pretty much said my piece. Great map, definitely worth a play. I'd say overall. I say this every time we do a spotlight map. There shouldn't be a set of 4 maps that are just stuck on the start screen. I don't care how good your map is. It doesn't deserve that. But that's the situation. But since we have that situation, and it's never going to change, unfortunately, I'm glad this map is there. Because this is not a bad map. It is a good map. It does show people that play it what's possible in SnapMap, specifically in the visuals department, and for that reason, it's a good map. It's worth a play. Count Lazuli, what are your final thoughts?
All right. So I guess I'm gonna say for me it's above average, personally. I want to describe the map. I don't want to make it sound like I don't like the map. I like it. I think it's well done. I think its strongest suit is the cinematic element of it. I think it's really good in a lot of like the cutscenes, and the way it jumps between the present and I guess the future. And I guess I tend to have like a personal standard when it comes to maps. I either want a map to look really good, or I want a map to play in a way that's refreshing. Mm-hmm. And I guess it just didn't really tickle me in either of those areas. This just kind of feels like a good Snap map to me. But there's definitely a lot of small details I like. Right? Like, once again, the cutscenes where you see, at that beginning scene, there were like the Mancubi, coming into the camera, and then you wake up, and the ship was really cool. Now maybe it's because of the fact that when I played this map, it was on my laptop, so my quality was just like fresh vomit wretched. So my optimization was terrible, and I just did not have a good experience, especially going up that staircase, trying to fight all those cyber mancubi. I thought there were maybe a little bit too much of that particular demon in the map. I thought there could have been more variety. Maybe some barons or hell knights. I've noticed that there's a lot of. Is it just me, or were there a lot of demons missing from this map?
I think I saw possessed soldiers, zombies, and Mancubus, and that was.
Yeah, it feels like that was all.
Yeah, and I swear to God, I saw an imp in one of the cinematics, but
I think it's in the first
don't
cinematic,
remember.
but it's
yeah, the
somewhere
first
else.
cinematic, but you don't see any imps at the level.
So I guess in conclusion, for me, it didn't really get to my expectations of a map that really like wows me off my seat. But don't let that misinterpret the fact that I did enjoy this map, and I do think it's a good one for what it is. And those are my thoughts.
All right, thank you. Soviet Onion, what are your final thoughts about this map?
I think it's a pretty decent map for the time it was made in. You know, obviously, back then we didn't know every trick and like detail of that area, what we could get away with. And I think it's obviously the presentation of it being on the title screen when you get in. I think it's a really good map. Not a great. Well, at the time it was a good map, but it shows as you said. It shows you what you can do with SnapMap, like detail-wise and story-wise, even though the story is kind of confusing in some departments. And it's just along with the other four maps that are up there, it shows you like what you can get away with SnapMap, and like hopefully encourage people to play more maps or make their own. The combat, it wasn't it's not spectacular, as we were saying. There's like 3 enemies you fight. And the combat's not necessarily long, or fun to play in. As you had struggled a little bit because of the lack of POIs in the map, or any sort of detail in the map. Storytelling is pretty good. Like it has a lot of environmental storytelling in a way. It doesn't really do well in the storytelling department, because I still don't understand how this time traveling deal is going on. Detail-wise, it's really good. I actually got inspired by some of it when I first started. A lot of it looked really cool to me, because I was like, oh man, I wonder if, I think I can do that. And it helped me stay on the track to start making custom geo stuff, a few other things. But overall, it's a pretty decent map for, as I said, the era it was in of SnapMap. And that's basically my thoughts on it.
Okay. Yeah, thank you. SicklyShimly, what do you think about this map? What are your final thoughts? Did you understand what the story was?
I didn't really understand the story, though I did like the visuals, albeit a bit too industrial for what I usually go for.
Hellprop Man.
Oh, excuse myself real quick. I'll be right back.
Go for it.
I am crazy. I am the crazy Dark Souls person. But yeah, I do agree. The demon roster is quite limited. Because I only saw like 3 or 4 different types of demons throughout the entire map. Outside of the opening cinematic, in which we saw demons that we don't get to fight in the act. Sorry. The silence, I thought you, can you guys hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You just
Sorry,
you just normally
this-
take long breaks in between your sentences. I wasn't sure if you were just thinking of the next thing to say. You can just let me know if you're done making your final thoughts.
Alright. But, so, I liked the way the map looked. I liked the use of the skyboxes, because with some of the rooms, especially the spiral staircase room, like I remember using that in one of my maps. But the thing is, I only remembered what room it was when I was comparing what the floor looked like to one of the rooms that I used in one of my own maps. That was the only way I was able to tell what the staircase room was, because the skybox threw me off. Same thing actually happened with the hangar for a good amount of time with all the details and the skybox, I really did not actually know what I was looking at until I looked at the floor and I was like, oh wait, I recognize it now. And then I looked at the big pipes on the ceiling, and that's when I realized, oh, this is that giant UAC room that everybody used up until the grid room was introduced.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'd say pretty good map, though lacking in demon variety. And I can't really judge anything about the organization of the code, because with my maps, there's basically no organization with the code, and it pretty much goes, and what judges the map's ability to run is my ability to remember where the code is. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Okay, thank you. Finally, Dingenouts. What are your final thoughts about Time Traveler?
Well, first, it didn't really have a... Well, it had a story. It attempted to have a story. But the story I found not appealing whatsoever. And,
Yeah, the story.
It's a bit thin, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but, I'm mainly focused on the, combat. I tend to make my arenas look really weird and have all kinds of ledges you can grab on to maximize mobility. But there wasn't really that much combat in the map, which is what mainly Doom is about. It's about the combat and stuff. But the map was going for something completely different. It was going more story-wise. It had more attention in visuals, which did look good, especially the mech stuff. And some of the geo also looks really good. But in the end, it comes down to the combat in the map. That is always the main focus, and that is always the main focus of... And it's kind of failed at that, because at the start of the map you don't have any weapons whatsoever, but then as soon as you enter that room, you get gifted like a ghost rifle, a combat shotgun, you're loaded and decked out with pretty much everything, and then only a couple of rooms afterwards you get the BFG, which you then don't really use that much, because you can only use it for like one room.
Yeah. Definitely feels like the combat was sort of not the main focus in this map. It was just sort of layered in as needed, as required, essentially.
Yeah. That's how I feel about the combat. Of course, it doesn't mean that combat is like important in a horror map or maps like that try to scare the player. There doesn't need to be any combat in that. In those kinds of maps.
I just heard someone open a cold one.
Cracking open a cold one with the boys.
Now my fingers are...
Sorry. Go on ahead.
Yeah, go ahead and finish your final thoughts, Dinge.
I think I'm done.
Okay. Yeah, that was well put. Would you guys say this is even a horror map? I mean, I know there's
I wouldn't
like
call it.
blood and guts.
I
And,
mean, aside from like the
Some dark
first cinematic, outside of the first cinematic, which in my opinion is really the only thing that alludes to it, like the first 5 minutes
when
of the
you're
map
in
are
the big teleporter and you get teleported to the future, it's all covered up in blood and it's all there's a nightmare filter on, so already we're in like the dream world. Freddy Krueger is going to be coming after us at any moment. So spooky.
He was just running late. He had to use the bathroom.
There's actually a map out there like that maybe we should cover sometime.
Mm.
and of course, there's my theory that I touched on earlier, that after that you step into the teleporter at the beginning and it explodes, you do see a dead body that was like, you can tell it got blasted away from the teleporter, and there wasn't anybody in the room other than you. So my theory is that that's actually, I mean, he's not in armor, right? Because you can't do that. At least when this map was made.
Yeah.
That my theory is that that's actually the player. The player died during the cutscene. Like the Doomslayer actually died in this map, but it's not revealed to the player. So everything that happens afterward is just sort of like some sort of afterlife that you're living in. That's just my theory.
If you want to warp that time travel logic even further, we could say that the moment you travel forward in the future, it's immediately game over since you're dead.
It's one of those maps where you automatically lose the game, like, you know, like those joke maps.
Oh yeah.
I saw, like, what made me think of that was I saw this little indie movie on YouTube a while back about like this space bounty hunter who's got like a time travel machine, and it creates a bubble, and everything that goes in the bubble goes forward in time. And like some dude tries to reach into the bubble, and his arm turns into like a skeleton. So it just kind of made me think of that, like, you know, maybe the moment you go forward, it's like, well, you're already dead at that point, so it's automatically a game over.
Yeah, I think that would have been an interesting twist for the story to follow if there was more of a kind of a fleshed out story. I feel like this map doesn't have so much of a real story, so much as it has just a setting that kind of tells the story. Like there isn't like a story narrative that pushes the map along. It's just kind of in the background in a way. I feel like
you're here, have fun.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't feel like this, even though it's ranked as a story map, I don't feel like there is really a strong story that's being told.
I feel like it's trying to tell a story. It's just not very strong in the way it's telling it, you know?
Mm.
The next one I have a very different opinion on, though.
Speaking of which, why don't we queue up Time Traveler 2?
Alright.
I'm
set.
I'm good to go.
Okay, where's the countdown?
It starts at 0. So just bring it to 0, and I'll do the countdown when you guys are ready.
I'm ready.
Everybody ready?
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. 3, 2, 1, play.
First thing about this.
June
The second I saw this map, I was like, holy shit, this guy's still alive.
This is actually a different account.
Well, I mean, looking at the upload date, I can see why you're thinking that. June
Oh,
6th,
he actually has armor
2020.
this time.
Yeah, because this isn't actually... So you can't actually get to Time Traveler 2 by going through the author account from Time Traveler 1, because it's a different author profile. I don't know what happened with his profile, if something weird happened, but he couldn't publish Time Traveler 2 under ByManStudio. So this is
Maybe
just...
he lost his Steam account if he's on PC, assuming. Or whatever account he may be on. He might have lost
Well,
it.
it says in the description, new account.
Yeah.
So,
If you're watching this eventually by ByManStudio, let us know in the comments why you got 2 accounts.
I know that for my case, when I lost my old account, I'd say it was more of a blessing, because back then I was a big slap mapper, and I had up to over 75 maps published by the time I lost my old account.
I know there's someone on this. There is someone on SnapMap who has over like 200 maps published, and they're actually like decent maps. They're not like most of them, I would say.
Oh, is it bad, Fluppy? I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Well, there's one guy named Shotgun, I think. He has a shit ton of maps made, but they vary in quality and quantity.
I think one of them was actually really, really terrible. It was like a co-op map.
Cursed Fortress? Is that the one?
I think so. But I remember, even Z-Man hated it. He said it was like...
he said it was every little thing to piss him off in a snap map.
He said it was like crossing the ocean of fuck about on a boat made of dicks or something.
Yeah, it's the Tropic of Fuckabout, and the Tropic of Fuckabout is basically when something is so hard that it's not even a challenge anymore. It's just fucking the player.
And the only reason why I know about this guy's maps existing, because I remember I was bored and I wanted to, play some maps with someone. And I found a random lobby and I joined it. I was actually playing through the maps with the guy. I didn't realize it, and also those maps have a really terrible running system. But anyway,
here we go. Great custom introduction here.
Oh, by the way,
That's
Shotgun,
cinematic.
if you're watching this, I'm sorry. We're like an entire league of people ripping on you.
We're an entire league of assholes ripping on people's maps.
Don't take it personally, Shotgun. I do want to check out some of your maps.
And that's actually a BFG and
this is a
Hellbarrel.
great cinematic.
Yeah, I love how he.
By the way,
He just lands on the wing there. That's great.
I just want to say this now. Pretty much every negative criticism I had about the previous map, crumple it up in the paper and throw it in the garbage, because this is a very different map right here.
That was a very great cinematic right there, because they used the camera angle perfectly. Because the enemy ship is literally just one of those hell barrels with like a BFG in it.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
It is.
One thing this map does. So in the really old days of filmmaking, or actually, I'm gonna shut up for the moment because this is just one of the best things I've seen in Snap Map.
This might be one of the best just single modules.
Like this here. Oh my god.
I mean, it's like this and Devil City Ransom. It's like between the two of them.
I've always aspired to do something like this, but I don't have the space. The space to spare on a map because I want to go bigger.
Right.
This is just baffling to me.
This just reminds me of COD Zombies.
It does, yeah.
It really does.
You almost expect there's even a bus station for a bus to pull up.
One complaint, actually, I do have one complaint, and it's
there's the
for
mech.
all these really, really cool buildings, you use one of them.
I think
like one building
allows you entrance,
and then all the others are just set dressing.
Yep, just
which is a shame. I wish you could interact for a little
more. But regardless,
more.
this is amazing set dressing.
Yeah,
oh, for sure.
What was your when you were playing through this to get the recording? What was your reaction?
Well, I played this before. I played it for the recording.
Oh.
But my reaction was just like, wow, it was amazing, and
oh yeah,
and even like the most amazing part is really towards the end when you are on that train. You have that train battle. What he does with the cinematics, that's like next level cinematics.
Oh,
so I want to point out.
Those
so in the
triggers.
So in like the really early ages of cinema, if movies wanted something like a dragon, what they would do is they'd take a lizard, usually an iguana or chameleon, and they'd actually bring it close to the camera and have the people really far away. That way it looked like the lizard was giant, a big monster. And this map uses that technique a number of times, like much like what one of you pointed out earlier with the Hell explosive as the alien ship.
Right.
And the same thing is done at the Baron of Hell near the end of this map, where it uses death to create that illusion of something bigger.
But look at how creative he's getting just with making things like that glass door.
A lot
with
of
the
this
handles.
is just the normal props you have access to. This was even like, well, this was kind of during when the modding era was starting to begin. But regardless,
yeah, but
this is amazing use.
I think it, like June 2020, like it was only like just barely starting to take off.
No, in May we had stuff going. I remember Tara was messing around. I think that's when we got invisibility.
Yeah,
no, I mean that was back when that was back when mod started, but like it wasn't widely implemented.
Unlike now.
Such a beautiful mech.
The one thing I really liked was the crashed ship. The way the terrain is all like chopped up with the ship, and it you just see the terrain how all it flows with the the way the crash came in.
Yeah. No touchies.
And I love that armor and glass there too. That's fantastic.
Come buy some armor right here, half off. Armor half off, damage reduced to half.
Just in case a drive-by shooting occurs.
And I try a little mountain goading, but I think I give up pretty quick because he definitely went out of his way to deter the mountain goats.
he was really good with the anti-mountain goading.
Yeah. Now I have been able to mountain goat this pretty well in the past, but I didn't want to waste a bunch of time. I do try, but
for the sake of the joke, I want
for later.
For the sake of the joke, I want JRcrash to finally get like on a really high place in a snap map, and then like an eagle just comes and takes him.
I should build like a
from Dark Souls 2 shows up. Pursuer from Dark Souls 2 shows up.
No, you gotta build
God damn, look at
mountain.
this.
You gotta
wow.
scale.
And that crash site around the shuttle, man, that just
That's what I'm saying. That terrain's really well done.
Yeah.
I just wonder how much memory that thing took up.
Well, you'll probably get to see it soon.
this map is comprised of like 3 rooms, so
I love the boxy nature of like the mech's front hull. There's just something about it that
it's
just
very
fits
industrial
so well.
and it fits with the rest of the
I
map.
feel sorry for anyone who's sitting on its back when it opens up.
You know, it's funny because for a lot of the custom geo that I do, I tend to have a very hard time with industrial props.
I do better with industrial props. I don't know, it's just I started out with UAC stuff and kind of continue with it. Obviously, I experiment and try new things, but industrial is always easy for me to do.
Just some invisible
So it does
platform.
my heart good to see this. Look at you trying to break the map.
No,
Will you break the map, or will the map break you?
Well, I have gotten on top of those buildings in the past. I just didn't want to bother this time.
It's probably just trying to find a place where you can climb on top of an invisible block in volume.
Yeah.
Once again, though, that terrain is amazing.
It really is notable.
Yeah. What a dramatic. Makes me wonder if he
this
has
next
a different
sequence is also
account.
really cool.
It makes me wonder if he has a third account that uses to test us.
Well, you know, here's my theory. I think that the author of the first map, he traveled forward in time when he became a professional game designer, created a snap map then, and then came back to put it here.
Oh, it makes perfect sense, and that
That's how
means we'll see him in the future again.
Yeah.
And there's your
In
hologram
the future.
earning his Oscar.
The fourth demon, go!
What? No demons.
Yep. And here's the extent of the demon encounters in this map: is demons running down a hallway, running down staircases.
Like seriously, that caught me off guard.
After you. Oh look, mech support.
Have a nice day.
I think my only problem with that cutscene
running
right
down the
there.
stairs caught me off guard.
Didn't like the fact that you were getting hurt while that cutscene was happening, though.
I think he probably teleported you out.
Hopefully.
Oh, yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
Yeah, that's the worst. The thing I don't like about cutscenes that have like active demons. If you don't teleport the player away, there's a chance the player might die.
Yeah, there's actually a bug in antivirus where you can die during the very final boss cutscene because I can't get the summoners to. Anyway.
I'm counting 2 types of demons, so.
I think there's more that come out. Yeah,
Oh, they're different
demon
demons
variety
that come
gets
out.
spiced up. I like how he shoved the Hellraiser inside of the mech, so you can get support with the laser.
Is that what that is?
Yeah, you can sometimes see in this gameplay there's a Hellraiser probably buried inside the mech that's shooting at the demons sometimes, but only when they get close, probably because he can't see shit.
That mech really does. That is just like thumbnail bait right there. That's such a beautiful prop.
Again, giving me those Ridley Scott's Alien vibes.
I could see ByManStudio playing playing Psychotron and being like, you call that a mech? I'll show you a mech.
I like to imagine. I like to imagine that the demons are getting dangerously close to the hologram. So you get into that mech and you're like, get away from him, you bitch.
Yeah, get away from him, you. Beautiful.
It says here you're a bitch.
And here's where the
Oh,
lag
there we
is
go.
like just intense.
The lag.
Yeah.
Oh my
I'm assuming,
god.
I'm assuming the developer put in the map author
Four
put in
types.
delete.
4 types.
Love that close-up
wow, he was-
cutscene too.
Oh yeah, I love that little ducking.
Yeah, he ducks and pops up. Man, what an Oscar-worthy performance from the hologram there.
Yeah.
Okay, we got 4 types of demons. We got 4 types of demons.
I really don't. I'm assuming that the reason
We got
from that
far from
lag is that
rooftops.
the author deleted props there.
Yeah, that's
or,
what I'm thinking as
Or
well.
tried hiding solid props because those
JRcrash. All right. How long is it gonna take until? Oh, there goes Tim Curry.
Oh, you're talking about the demon from Legend?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I call Barons of Hell, the bad guy from Legend. I just can't help but see Tim Curry as the devil whenever I see those barons.
Did Tim Curry do the devil get-up makeup? Was he the actual actor who dressed up
He was
as the
the-
devil?
yeah,
or did he
he
just
was
do
the
the
actual-
voice?
No, I'm pretty sure he dressed up in that outfit.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't remember what does the devil in that movie have an actual name, or is he just the devil? I don't know.
They call him Darkness.
Darkness.
Oh yeah, what original? But oh man, yeah, he was great.
I just
Dreams,
know-
I influence men.
I know some of the other characters' names, like the goblin that works for him is named Blix. Go,
Yeah,
Blix!
I remember,
Find a horn of a unicorn that sticks up like an antenna straight to heaven, and cut it off and bring it to me.
Yeah,
Innocence! Innocence!
I can't get over the fact that like when you kill them, they just fall through.
Yeah,
I
that's
think
pretty
that
funny.
had to do with Geo not working with demon bodies.
Yeah.
We are all animals, my lady.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a great.
Oh god, did you kill him? Oh hell no! What kind of animal do you take me for? I did kidnap his wife though.
Just wait
Oh,
until
this
they.
could be
I'm sure they're
so
gonna remake
long.
that movie eventually. It's just a matter of time.
Oh, dude.
Anything good from
Yeah.
anything nostalgic is gonna get remade and milked.
The only thing that there was actually only one thing I didn't really like about that movie, and it's that the pacing of certain scenes went long enough to become uncomfortable.
Yeah, well,
Um,
if you go back and watch it now, the story's kind of stupid.
It is, but when I watched it, I was just so astounded by the effects and how real it all was. By the way, this took me like half an hour to figure out right here.
Oh my god.
And this vent scene actually takes place in a separate module. He teleports you during that
What?
cutscene. Yep.
I thought so. I thought that was the case when I was piecing it together.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's no way you could have fit it in that hallway or part of
Mhm.
the room because it connects straight to there.
Right.
Oh.
And then we get into this train station. I've seen this a couple times.
Polar Express.
It's amazing what he
Polar
did
Express.
in this train station as far as
Wow.
decals and skyboxes. Totally
Yeah, a lot
A lot
transformed
of
it.
it looks natural, and it doesn't even look like it's like something he put in the map.
Exactly. It's really hard to tell like what is pre-made and what did he put in because it just blends so seamlessly.
I'd love if you had to pull like a
has to
Hogwarts
do with the
Express
fact
and
that
like
he-
jump into the train.
I think one thing that helps him blend it together so well is like his use of decal layers to paint the floor. For example, right there, where the floor's red. But since it still uses the same texture as the floor.
Yeah, and you'll see it later when I'm like kind of messing around in the editor just how many decals he uses and where he puts them. It's really like amazing how he just uses
Yeah,
them to
like
make
this
the whole
map-
module
This
pop.
map does really well in the custom Geo department. Like, hey, I'm really good at Geo. Like, fuck off.
Yeah.
Like one thing that helps it blend in is how much of it there is.
There he is
Because
typing
if
on
I
the
just threw like
on the
one of
keyboard.
those like, if I just copy and paste one of those assets into one of my own rooms. It just wouldn't fit unless I added the things that match its appearance.
Here comes the demon hallway again.
Yep, down the stairs.
Oh, there comes the skeletons.
Hey, I thought
If you want to sum up the
Revenants running
gameplay
down
of the
stairs
Time
is actually
Traveler
pretty cool
series,
looking.
it's demons walking downstairs.
However, I still only count 4 demon types.
I kind of want. Do you guys remember Bananas in Pajamas?
No.
No. Maybe it's a Canadian thing. I don't know. It was just
That must
it was
be
like
it.
a kids. It was like a kids show with like a rhyming song, and I just saw those demons coming down the stairs, and just kind of made me think of that. You know, demons are coming down the stairs. I don't know.
The problem is that all of us Americans here are uncultured
Great,
swine.
now that you're bringing that up, I'm just thinking of the fucking Smurfs jingle as they ran down the stairs.
All right. Well,
I'll be sure to link it in the description, whatever the hell you're talking about.
for those of you in the comments that grew up knowing Bananas in Pajamas, my heart goes out to you.
Oh, that's right. That door closes on you, so.
Yeah, he doesn't want you exploring
Oh shoot!
what's not there.
Pretty sure it's just like an elevator room where he spawns demons or a hallway.
Right.
Demon type number 5.
And of course he uses the
has
smoke
now
so that he
made their
can't see
presence.
beyond what's down the hallway. Which is
I think
smart.
It's
I mean, it's a
probably
good
just
thing
an
to do.
empty hallway, anyways. There's
Yeah.
nothing in there.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I'm just saying it's smart that he put the smoke
Yeah.
there so you don't
Yeah,
see it.
he did a good job. Like on the other side, when you saw the hallway going into the building, he did a really good job with like that illusion of depth. You know.
The real question though is where are all these demons coming from? If that's just a hallway, is there like adjacent hallways where they're coming from?
They're coming
Like,
from
there's
hell.
There's just a massive pile of demons just hanging out.
I think there's just this really long hallway where there's like thousands of demons like sitting on chairs waiting for their turn to come in.
Yeah, it's like a DMV line.
237,539.
The end of that
You may
hallway
run to
is just
the
a portal
train
to hell.
now.
Also,
Number 34. Number 34.
now that I think
Oh
about
wait,
it,
he's dead.
now that I think about it, I'm just gonna screw with the logic of like hell portals now because these demons, they come in through teleportation. So, what if a demon like accidentally teleports like halfway into a wall or something?
Oh, that sounds like their problem.
Well, one, I feel bad for them.
I just
Two, that's
imagine.
their
Good
problem.
thing I had a double jump there. Oh my goodness. Would have fallen to my death. You know what's funny is, I bet these demons are just trying to catch the train. And they're like, God, there's this crazy guy with a chainsaw. We're just trying to get to work.
Go get him!
Who the fuck is this asshole killing us?
Yeah.
Dude, I'm just trying to
There's
board
this
the train.
weirdo. There's this
The
weirdo out here with a
ones,
chainsaw and a double barrel. What do we do?
There was actually.
Just trying to use the public transit.
And before the demons are just your coworkers, and you just start going massacring after that teleport accident.
There was a snap map called Doom Guy versus Chad, and you play as like this Doom guy who got pissed off because he couldn't get the Stacy, so he goes on a chainsaw massacre at the pool
Oh my
party.
god.
Yeah, it was, there was some incel rage going on there. It was kind of
Oh, yeah.
cringy.
And then I think after that, the Revenant
R/incel
police
team.
take you down and they like electrocute your balls or something like that.
What the fuck?
I don't know.
I had
Oh, no.
a map called Pig a Donkey where you go on a rampage because you got in
Oh,
prison
shit.
for unjust murder, and then proceed to kick the shit out of everything and kill the comedy police at some point. Very interesting map.
Maybe sometime we should do a snapcast of like, I don't know, top 5 WTF maps or something.
Yeah.
That'd be a
Do
really
that.
long one, because there's some WTF maps that go on for really long. You know what? No. We need to do a Snapcast on Soda Drinker Pro.
Oh
Anyone
shit.
remembers that
one.
map?
Oh, I remember. It's from Hilda.
Same guy who made, what's it called? Dinge
Great
War.
Emu War. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that was actually a snapcast featured map.
Yeah, I
Great
did get
Emu
to
War.
join that one. I think something came in the way.
It's funny. No, that was an all international map or snapcast. Nobody in that snapcast was from the same
love this
country.
train. This train is so fucking cool.
Oh, this is
Yeah, this is a really nice train.
yeah, and if you this entire interior is custom geo.
Look at
I like
that,
how
man.
that's just a bullet core.
Yeah, look at that thing. This is just amazing. This is
Look at
next
the way
level.
he
One thing I gotta
manipulates
want to
the
know is
AI.
what they're shooting at.
They see you, apparently, so I guess
Good
you were
lord.
teleported.
That lad.
And then they bust through the
Hey,
ceiling.
we found him! We found the
The
crazy guy
damage?
with the chainsaw on the double barrel!
Like the hole that they blew through is really well done too. If you look at it,
Oh
like,
shit! Demon number 6! Imp 7!
bro,
Possess
they're just trying to
security!
get on the train. They just want to take the train to the fucking corporate.
Grandpa, please just take your medicine!
Stop praying for my grandpa. He's getting too powerful.
Yeah, this is the problem with mass transit. There's
Popcorn
always
out of the microwave! It's giving him bad thoughts!
This is why you don't disturb a sleepwalker.
and here's the scene that I don't understand at all. Like, what
No,
is
but I love
this
it.
moment?
I love the
Wow.
house.
We better. Well,
could be the
well,
thing.
we better get an explanation for this 2029.
I mean, it's
I love
cool.
the
He's
weird,
using gray blocking volumes, and it's all washed out and black and white. But what is this supposed to
I love
represent?
the-
I have no idea.
Oh, there's Tim Curry again.
I'm gonna poop! Ignore that.
Come on.
Grab
Tim
it.
Curry said he wanted to go into space. Send him there.
Help lag.
There he
Oh,
goes,
there you go.
blasted out the back, blowing out of the goddamn airlock.
Metal as hell. I love this end scene.
And look at that. Look at that cutscene.
Oh.
Holy shit. That's
Damn.
amazing.
To be continued, yeah, 2029. We're gonna see. Wait, 9 years. No, 8 years. Yeah, 8. Well then. That was something.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. Demons still seem rather limp up.
And I was actually able to get number 12 because there aren't a million people who have played this map.
And you can't
travel
just
to-
glitch the score like harvesting kills constantly.
Yeah. I'm gonna grab another drink before I get into final thoughts, but you guys feel free to talk about the map while I'm gone.
All right.
Can I tell how expansive all this stuff is? If the
Jesus.
editor is laggy.
It seems to me that some of the craziest geo is done in like single modules, like single grid rooms. Another example is Devil City Ransom did that. Like it all
Yeah.
takes place in just one big grid.
Well, yeah,
room.
because then you just cram everything in there, and you can have super detail. It's a single room, but they make it last a long time.
Yeah. Yeah.
When
Man,
you
I
build a
can't get
bigger
over that
map,
crash.
when you build a bigger map, you're compensating. For the price of having a bigger map, you're taking out the detail you would put in a single room.
Yeah.
Really like that UAC building, like where the terminal is. It's so simple, but at the same time, it's really cool.
Oh yeah.
A lot of this is really simple. Like you think it's all complicated, but when you get down to the bare bones, it's actually really easy to understand.
Like,
Obviously,
still
stuff like
probably
that, like this right here, where like the vendor area, that's kind of complicated, but it's not really.
Yeah.
Like that wall there is just a construction prop. There's nothing more to it. It's just a shit ton of decals. Decals add so much to the map.
I love the stairs going up to the back, and like you don't even go there. It's just scenery.
Yeah.
I gotta
Well,
get to that.
They put a decal to make it look like there's a floor up there.
Like that's detail.
You put in detail where it counts, and you don't have to put like much. Like right here, you only see those two cabinets or whatever. Shelving units.
Lazarus.
A lot of this still makes you peek inside, like, oh, what's in there? What could be hiding there? Is there little Easter eggs or anything? I don't think there is many Easter, if any Easter eggs in this map.
No, I don't think so. I don't think this was like an Easter egg heavy map. Just
Yeah.
very, very much immersion.
And it does really do really well with in the Geo department, though.
Yeah, this map, it's like the first map heard my criticisms and just was like, oh yeah, Lazuli, and then just boom, here it is.
Although the combat is still kind of questionable in its
Yeah.
decision from, enemies wandering down a hallway.
Yeah.
That's where they're hiding the Baron over there. And
Good use of space.
I mean, there is definitely a lot more demons present, though I still do think that's okay.
I'm assuming they're probably single demon encounters instead of place demons. I try not to use
Yeah.
place demons because they take up more space, and you can get away. I only really use the place demons for specific purposes. 'Cause
Yeah.
some of them have different they have different things about them that.
Yeah, I usually use the actual demon things, boss encounters.
Especially
I used to just outright
required
use them, but then I
required
realized
glory kill.
Yeah, then I used to use them all the time, but then I learned about their limitation, and then I learned about custom demon encounters and single demon encounters, mini boss events, and all that stuff.
Oh yeah, this is a space sequence. That's why I was saying that little craft is
Yeah.
super tiny, but when you look at it,
I really like the ship. The ship reminded me a lot of the Space Pirates in Metroid Prime 3. Just the style of the ship.
Yeah, that.
It looks like one of those gunships they had in that game. For those of you who've played it.
It's so cool what he's able to do with just those two props right there. Just the Hell Barrel and the BFG put together like that. And just sort of that...
Back.
Yeah, just, didn't feel the need to introduce myself. You guys were talking. But yeah, the forced perspective he has of just having that really
And
close to the
saves
camera.
space there by chopping off the parts you're not going to see. Like, you see how the craft is missing almost everything about it because there's no need to put it in there.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is the room where he has the vents set up. Yep, where you're crawling through the vents. A scene that kind of reminds me of something out of Aliens, actually, when they're crawling through the vents and you have the red light kind of illuminating
This map
everything.
seems to have a lot of similarities with Aliens.
Yeah.
What if they all
Significantly
forgot
less
inspirational?
objects, but still quite a lot of freaking memory, and probably...
The memory's probably coming from that one big-ass room. Well, the
Yeah.
big module-heavy one.
Or from just all that cutscene logic that he's got going on.
Yeah, note that from what I'm aware of, this map has a heavier focus on the cutscenes than...
This map does really well, though, with hiding the teleportation in this section. Like, you don't hear the teleportation noises because you're constantly getting distracted.
Right. Yeah. It's totally seamless when you go from that little part in the city through the vents and then end up in the train station. It's so seamless where you don't actually kind of notice the fact that you're being teleported around, which is really good.
Yeah. Yo.
I love the way that this train station was like, they redid it, using the skyboxes to their, best use.
Actually, I love how you come in from the top right there.
Yeah, not a lot of people tend to use that area up there.
Like, when I first entered this, I didn't know what module I was coming into when I saw the pipes along the ceiling.
Yeah, the ceiling is usually just wasted space.
Yeah. Yeah.
Since the video is kind of coming towards a close, should we get on to the final thoughts?
Yeah, let's go ahead and do that. I guess I'll kick it off real quick. My final thoughts is that Time Traveler 2 is everything that you liked about Time Traveler 1, just, powered up to the next level. I personally feel like it's got better custom geo. It still sticks to that hybrid module kind of design where it's not full custom geo, but he takes the pre-made modules and just sort of layers in blocking volumes, props, skyboxes as needed to get the desired effect. And the desired effect is really good because the entire visual presentation sells really well. There is that one room where you're in, there is one module where it's just a grid room where you're in that city. So that area actually is full custom geo. But the train station, you can tell all this little stuff that he added in, just the train, putting all those decals on it, and just fantastic. The Geo is just amazing. Another thing that's equally amazing, and maybe doesn't get as much credit when people talk about this map, is what he did with the cutscenes. And you're seeing a little bit of it here, but how he actually set up, the way he set up having those cutscenes work with the train, how it looks like you're like on some sky rail or something flying down on this train, and the way he pulls it off, and then has that part where, you know, he's got guys running on top of it, and he creates that sense of motion, and you blast the Baron out of the back of it. Just that whole thing is just so well done.
I'm still surprised by how he like manipulated the AI to get shoot at the joke.
Yeah, I mean the way he did the cutscenes and the Geo. That's where this map really shines. On the negative side, it's like, yeah, the gameplay does, the combat, I should say, not the gameplay. The combat does seem to come in second fiddle, because it's literally just demons running down a hallway, running down a flight of stairs, and you shoot them as they run towards you. It's kind of mindless, and it's obvious that that he built everything visually. He like built his set pieces first, and he's like, okay, how am I going to incorporate some combat into here? Because it's got to be a demon shooting experience. So it's pretty obvious he didn't imagine the combat first and then build his Geo around that combat experience. It was Geo was the focus and cutscenes was the focus, and then the combat just kind of was dropped on top of it. And then there's another part that's, I would say it's good and bad, is that cutscene where you have that house. You're in that little module where it's just black and white, and then there's a house, and it looks cool visually. It's obviously some kind of a thing that's happening in your mind, like a flashback or a dream, because you get knocked on your ass when the Baron jumps in, and then it cuts to that, and I don't know what that's supposed to represent. I don't know if that's like you're thinking about your home life or something that is sort of outside of the map that you're experiencing, or if it's just it's obviously supposed to represent something. I just don't know what. For the life of me, I have no idea. Yeah, this right here. Speaking of, so this right here, I mean, it looks cool visually. I love the effect he was able to pull off. How it's just black and white in the house. I just don't understand it, where it fits into the story, what it's supposed to convey. If you guys have any thoughts at all, feel free to take a swing at it.
Honestly, I think he threw it in there. Like, he has some intended story, but like he doesn't explain it at all. Obviously, this is some, as you said, a flashback of some kind or some sort. Or maybe it's a hallucination caused by that Baron, but I don't know. Because he never explains anything. And that also follows the earlier map, too. He doesn't explain anything at all. It just kind of happens. You're just kind of there.
Yeah. I mean, I guess you could say that this stuff is just sort of... It's just sort of leaving it up to the player to sort of interpret as they see fit. Like, hey, I don't really know what this means, but if, whatever story you come up in your imagination is good enough. I don't know. That's kind of the feeling I get. I don't know. I have no idea. Truly. And that's why I'm sort of feel like this map series shouldn't really be classed as a story map, because it's not really, doesn't have like a strong narrative that's coherent, but it does have really good set pieces that sort of visually tell a story in a way. And that's basically my final thoughts about just this whole series overall. Is visually it's great, cutscenes are great, it's technically great, the combat's sort of second fiddle, and I'm going to hand it over to Count Lazuli. What are your final thoughts? What do you think about Time Traveler 2 and the Time Traveler series as a whole?
Alright, so I'm going to start with the bad and then end with the good, because I usually like to end on a happy note. So with the bad, well, for one, I don't exactly see where the time travel comes into play in this map. And, like for a map called Time Traveler, you would think there'd be some kind of, time travel, but if there was, it certainly wasn't clear to me when it happened. Another issue I have is, as you said, it was just the demons running down the halls as really the only way to fight for the most part. Another problem I had was a problem I had with the previous map, where it's like, where the heck do you go? And I guess to some extent I feel like I should have paid a little more attention when I was first playing it. But for me, it was that little vent inside the broken building. I spent like around half an hour looking around the map trying to figure out where I'm supposed to go. And I actually had to stop my playthrough and go look at someone else's just to figure out that that little vent was there, and I had to shoot it. Because it blended so well into the environment, which brings me into my positive. It's a very detailed environment. I mean, oh my goodness, the detail in this was insane. You could spend so much time just sitting about, looking around and seeing what kind of detail he put into this map. The mech, the buildings, everything inside the buildings, the crash site with all the rubble everywhere, even with individual bricks laying about, just so much detail in the map. And of course, there's the cinematic aspect of it. It was a strong suit in the first part, and it certainly came back even stronger in the second part here. From the beginning, where you're being attacked by the sort of Metroid Prime 3 space pirate looking ship, to the despite the lag that it caused, the Baron of Hell jumping over the hologram guy. We spent a couple seconds watching the game freeze for a moment there.
Yeah, I was a little worried it was going to crash. Fortunately, it didn't.
Game had heartburn.
That was the moment where Grandpa needed his pills, was right there. And of course, probably one of the best moments of the map was the ending in the... Well, actually, I did actually really like, as confusing as it was, I really liked the house scene. It just had that sort of surreal, dreamlike element that I don't often get to see in a Snap map. So it was really nice to see kind of this wacky vision of a giant Baron looking down on this, honestly, kind of comfy looking house. Albeit very cold looking house. And then there was that badass end scene where you're looking out the half-broken train with the hologram. Like, this map as a whole was just very polished. And yeah, man, if there's going to be a Time Traveler Part 3, then I cannot wait to see what he does next with it. And those are my thoughts.
Thank you. That was great. Let's see. Soviet Onion. What are your final thoughts about Time Traveler 2 and then just Time Traveler as a series?
So Time Traveler 2 is definitely amazing in the Geo department. Like, when this thing came out and I saw this for the first time, I'm like, holy shit, what can I copy and paste from this map?
Right.
And then it's really amazing in that department. And along with the cinematics, like, I really like when people do, like, cool cinematics like this in Snap Map. And this one's definitely on the one of the highest on my list of, like, really well done cinematics. Both of those, do really well, the Geo and the cinematics. But when it comes to the gameplay, and obviously, once again, the story is confusing. That follows for both Time Travelers so far. The story is very confusing, and the combat is okay at best. It's not super hard, but it's not like interesting in any way. As you said, it's demons walking down the hallway towards you, and you murder them over and over again. It's a really cool map. I enjoyed it. Overall, this series seems to get better as it grows. Obviously, whenever this next map comes out in 2032, I'm going to keep increasing the years. It should be an amazing map. Obviously, this map, for what it is, it has its faults, but at the same time, it does really well with certain things. So overall, I think it's a really good map. I think that both these maps right now are pretty awesome maps. They have their flaws, but overall, they're pretty good. That's basically my thoughts on it.
Okay, thank you. SicklyShimly, what do you think about Time Traveler 2 and Time Traveler series overall?
Well, to start with Traveler 2, just about everything seems to be an improvement. Even though the way the combat kind of starts, it seems weird, like the enemies running down the stairs. But at the end of the day, one thing that allowed me to get around that is, like, there's more varied demons. Albeit, I still do think that their use is kind of limited. For example, the only time we see imps during the level is, like, 2 imps during the fight on the train. Which is kind of weird considering how weak an imp usually is. You'd expect them to be usually the first enemy to run down the stairs during the first fight. But they're not. It's a bunch of revenants instead. But outside of that, like, the combat is better. The maps were fucking gorgeous. Just about everything about this was a major improvement. The way the White House looked, thought it was weird, but I liked it. But, and about the series, yeah, I can agree it is getting better as it goes along. And judging by what I have been seeing, to me, it seems like there's going to be some big reveal at some point later down the road of the story that might tie a few things, if not the entire whole thing, together. Then I noticed this time traveler part confused me because there's only one instance of it, and it's like with the white dreamy house. That's like the only time where it's like, oh, this might be taking place in the past, right? Outside of that, the rest takes place in the future. Also begs the question, where in the name of hell are those Cybermancubi? They're in the first one, but they're not in the second one. And considering how many of them showed up
it's
in
their
part
VR
one.
equipment. They're all wearing their VR equipment. When it came around for the second time, they're like, all right, well, let's actually try and fight this dude. So they ditched it and they can't go make a distance.
Well, I have a different theory. I think what happened was they became very self-conscious about their weight and turned into revenants.
They hit the gym a bit too much and then accidentally forgot to eat.
I'm watching
Someone collected all that meat somewhere.
I'm honestly surprised I haven't seen any like demons like Hell Knights or Pinkies, albeit I swear I did hear one at the end of the first map. Like, I swear to God, around the end I started hearing the sounds of an approaching Pinky, like the yells and screams. But I'm honestly surprised that, like, it's still kind of limited, because at the end of the day, we only got, like, 3 new demons to fight in part 2. And, it's kind of surprising, but it's definitely getting better. The story still confusing, but I think something might happen later down the line in the year 25302 that might explain all of it. Those are my thoughts.
Thank you for that. That's great. Yeah, I'm just watching a replay of it now as you're talking, and I just noticed like the light posts are actually just really tall, skinny volumes. Cylinder volumes.
Yeah,
like,
when
wow.
you realize the effectiveness of those cylinder volumes, you can make some really cool stuff out of them.
Yeah,
I don't use them often, but I've actually found out via modding that I can actually turn them, add proper textures to them, so I can get properly rounded like the normal blocking volume textures. I can basically apply them to one of those cylinders and then supersize it, and then it looks actually really cool.
Oh, no kidding. That's awesome. All right. Okay, last up, Dinge. Final thoughts.
Yeah, final thoughts. Everything was improved upon compared to the first entry of the series, and the visuals were stunning. They looked better than Antivirus, which I consider one of the super heavy geomaps.
Thank you.
That is just that is stunning in every single degree. including visual, but this map fits right amongst them, especially that trash area with the plane. That looks really good. And people just wouldn't shut up. Yeah, the combat still had the same problem with only a couple of demons were being used, and like someone already said, imps started appearing near the end of the mission, and also just demons walking stairs, and it could have been better, but it was also still better than the first part because there were more fights going on. There were a lot more fights going on in different areas. Besides that, I can't really think of much because I'm just so goddamn tired.
Yeah. Why don't you tell people where you are right now?
I'm in the Netherlands and it's currently 5 in the morning.
Jesus.
Oh my goodness.
Pretty intense. Well, I really appreciate you being here, man. That's pretty incredible.
I was hoping
Yeah,
to wake up at 5 this morning. I tried setting an alarm, but it turns out I turned my phone off before I even set the timer to start ticking.
Alright, so that's going to wrap it up for Time Traveler 1 and 2 by ByManStudio, and that's going to wrap it up for SnapCast episode 14. I want to thank everybody who was able to join me today to be here. So thank you, Count Lazuli.
Thanks. I mean, you're welcome.
Damn right you better thank me. No, I'm just kidding.
Crash is asserting his dominance.
Yeah. SovietOnion, thanks for being here.
Yep, no problem. I love being here.
SicklyShimly, thank you very much.
Welcome.
And Dinge, thanks a bunch, man. I know it's insane the time of day where you are, but appreciate you being here. And I hope you come and participate again in the future.
I probably will, to be honest. There's nothing else to be doing during this whole... other than sitting behind my PS4 and making maps.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey, maybe it'd be a PS5. I heard they dumped some new consoles out there to some of the box stores.
No, apparently they got sold out immediately again.
Really? Already?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Thank God I still can't afford one. Thank God I
PC
still
gang.
can't afford one.
Yeah,
Just
PC
thinking
game.
how long.
PC Master Race.
Ugh.
I'm
Well,
pretty sure once I
Eventually.
get the money to afford one, it's gonna be like.
alright guys, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. ByManStudio, if you ever watch this video, feel free to comment, let us know what you think about what we said, and fill us in on some of the details, since, I mean, I really would have loved to have had you here, but couldn't get a hold of you. It happens, but despite a lot of the criticisms, these are really good maps. They just definitely deserve to be featured here on the Snapcast. And, no map is perfect, but these maps, what they do well, they really shine at, and that's a fact. So, Snapcast episode 14, Time Traveler 1 and 2. Thanks for watching, everybody. Thanks for listening. Link in the description if you want to join the Discord, where you can participate in future Snapcast videos, or if you just want to join and recommend maps and just talk to other authors. It's great for that too. So that's going to be in the description, and that's it, everybody. Have a nice night, have a nice day, have a nice morning, depending on what part of the world you're in. And until next time, peace out.